Hi, ladies and gents. Lockie here. Hope that you're really, really well. I've got young Phil on the line from Perth, and the reason I've got Phil on the line from Perth, guys, he's my upline. I'm very, very new to the term upline. I would actually say mentor and coach in this thing called InnerOrigin. And the reason I'm actually recording the video for everybody today, regardless of where you are in the world, is that when I first saw InnerOrigin, my first thought was, oh yeah, here we go again. Like, well, what's going on? If it's that good, how come no one knows about it? So I was your classic resistant male, if you don't mind me suggesting. And my wife was actually the one who came forward and said, hey, honey, look, I think this is, I'll use an Australian term. Hey, I think this has got some really good legs on it. I think this is fantastic. And I thought, you know what, if she's taking it really seriously, then look, I'll have a look at it. The classic crossed-armed male. Phil, have you in your InnerOrigin journey so far? You're clearly quite a long way in the journey. You're quite senior in the Origin or the InnerOrigin group.
Yeah.
Do you tend to find that when people are first sort of approached about the whole InnerOrigin thing, they're a little bit like standoffish and a little bit this and a little bit that?
Yeah, absolutely, Lockie. And I think it's only natural. I think a lot of people, have had experience within typical network marketing.
Yep.
Whether they have or they know of somebody that has, and it kind of, the connotation of that results in a lot of shutters going up and a lot of arms being folded, like you say.
Yeah.
But what we like to do is we like to just show people that we are different. Direct selling is the umbrella that network marketing falls under. But actually, InnerOrigin doesn't fall directly into that category of typical network marketing. We basically sit within, underneath that umbrella. You also have like affiliate marketing.
100%.
So a lot of bloggers and a lot of online entrepreneurs now are really jumping on that affiliate marketing. And then, Amazon have got like an advocate referral system. So we kind of take the best of all of those. And have created, what you might want to call like an MLM 2.0 kind of version, taking all of those icky bits out and maintaining the best parts of those industries.
Well, I think, look, man, I think you have, and the funny thing is when I was talking to a mate of mine recently, and I was actually quite excited. I've gone from a person who's like, oh yeah, what's going on here? I actually went to the rank of 1 star in my first month of being in this business, which you'll learn in your InnerOrigin journey is like the first major rank.
There's first leadership position.
Yeah, first leadership position. There's only 9 to go now, and then I'll be the number 1 in the world. So not that I'm ambitious, but that's that's where we're going. Interesting point about like MLM 2.0. What I've actually realized, and guys, what Phil and I are going to do during this video for you is actually run through some of the InnerOrigin slides, because when I first saw the presentation, I was like, wow, I kind of don't get this and I don't get that. However, when I actually broke it down, InnerOrigin is basically, look, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Phil, but InnerOrigin is basically just an online healthy supermarket where people can basically log in from anywhere in Australia at the moment, and shortly it'll be global, but they log in from anywhere in Australia, basically can purchase their food. They know that the food has been independently vetted by an independent panel of experts. They basically know about truth on label. They know that what they're getting. It's almost like, when it's an online healthy supermarket without any catches. And the funny thing is when I first looked at, when my wife first bought it to me, I was like, oh yeah, what's the catch? What's the catch? The more I looked into it, the more I realized, well, hang on a second. I mean, is it true to say that all InnerOrigin is doing is getting a whole lot of great Australian farmers and connecting those fantastic Australian farmers to fantastic Australian consumers? That's all they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great way of looking at it, is connecting merchant partners, suppliers, farmers, growers, directly to consumers.
Yeah.
And our long-term vision, if you like, is pretty much Amazon for health and wellness products.
Yeah.
We are a discretionary marketplace. And basically what that means is the likes of Amazon and eBay and Alibaba, they are non-discretionary. So that basically means that anybody can sell anything on those platforms. So you might want to call that buyers beware. There'll be bulkers, there'll be fillers, there'll be additives, there'll be preservatives. You're not actually going to know, what is necessarily in those products and where they've necessarily come from. So we've stepped it up a little bit more, and we are a discretionary marketplace, like you say. So we will discriminate. We will have that, or we have that advisory board, that independent advisory board that vet and ensure the integrity of those ingredients, the manufacturing processes, the transportation, and the truth on labels. So we are basically providing a health and wellness platform, a shopping market where people will be able to trust that if they go shopping on InnerOrigin, they know where those products have come from, and that those products will only have healthy, sustainable, natural ingredients without all of the additives and the preservatives and BPA and all of that.
And all of the stuff.
Powerful concept.
Yeah, look, and it's funny thing that you mentioned that panel of experts, because I hear about, don't eat BPAs and don't eat parabens and don't eat this and don't eat that. And mate, the funny thing is, I've got 2 little boys. It's very, very difficult for me to run around Woolworths and basically read every label. Like I was fascinated. I was fascinated recently when I actually bought a chocolate coated macadamia nut. As you know, I've got a macadamia farm, and I was just sussing out some of the other products available. But the funny thing is, mate, this brand, which won't be mentioned, said Australian made and owned, and I thought, oh, isn't this fantastic? I'm buying from an Aussie farmer. But mate, it wasn't the case at all. The chocolate was from Australia, but the nuts were from California. And the reality is that I thought, I read the packet and said you're buying, I saw Australian made and Australian owned, and I thought, oh, you know what, that means that these are Australian made. They're not Australian at all, they're Californian, and God knows what pesticides they're using in California.
Mate.
Like, so I don't have time.
And that's the challenge.
It is.
Yeah. And you've got kids like I have, and the majority of people don't have that time to vet and to ensure that what they're getting, and I think we've all heard different stories very similar to that, but the laws of our land, the packaging requirements are so in the favor of the merchants and the suppliers that the customers are just in the dark. I mean, peas are a great example. You can go into Coles and Woolies or whatever and get New Zealand made peas. Well, in fact, they've probably been made and grown in India, in heavy polluted soil, transported over to New Zealand. But the only part that is New Zealand is the packaging. If anything's packaged in New Zealand, they can fly that into Australia, and it can be labeled as a product of New Zealand, and consumers are none the wiser. And unfortunately, the laws of the land and the labeling requirements don't really empower customers, and this is what we're finding is people are becoming more and more health conscious.
Of course they are.
Even if they're just curious. Whereas now we're providing them with the option. We will have a full variety of products, and the people will be able to go and purchase whatever they want, but they will be able to ensure the truth and transparency of ingredients and where they all come from, so that they can make an educated decision rather than a decision based on no education.
Well, maybe, being a dad and being a bit of a health nut, I find it an absolute no-brainer. And to give you an example, we're recording this on a Sunday. On Tuesday morning, I have daddy daycare where I look after both of the boys. Mate, last week, daddy daycare day, we came up to the computer and we did our entire weekly online shop on the InnerOrigin website, understanding you guys have got 750 items now. By around about July, 2018, the forecast is around about 2,500 to 3,000 items. The reality is that during Daddy Daycare Day, I can come up here to the office, bring the boys. We actually make an activity. We make a game of actually doing all of our weekly shop. It gets delivered. We don't have to worry about traveling to the shop, car parks, trolleys, kids throwing stuff into the trolley that you don't want. No doubt the fight at the checkout about people that want to put stuff on the conveyor belt and other people can't. Then you've got to go back to the car park, dump the trolley, put the kids in the car, food in the car. Then you've got to... You know the drill. And
it's stressful.
What I worked out, well, apart from the stress, it saves me just logging into the InnerOrigin website saves me around about 90 minutes a week. Now, I know 90 minutes a week is not that massive, but the fact is, if I forget something, I just go back onto the InnerOrigin website. It takes me about 5 minutes, and mate, I'm a CEO. I run a number of companies. The reality is that time with my kids is paramount to my life, and I've got the choice of spending 90 minutes in Woolworths or now around about 15 minutes bloody shopping online. This is a complete no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a big one for parents, and busy professionals. Is the convenience of not just the trust, being able to trust what you're buying, but the convenience of buying it online. And yeah, you're right. When we launched back in November, we launched with around 45 products. We're now about 210 days into launch. And yeah, we've got around that 750 product mark. Just to clarify, in the next 6 to 12 months from now, 6 to 12 months from now, we will be sat on a platform here in Australia with around 6,000 to 10,000 products.
Oh, wow.
And that's everything. Yeah, a lot more. We're really starting to get some traction with that. And that will be everything, everything in terms of your dried, non-perishable items within your pantries and larders.
Stunning, man.
Everything under your sink, everything in your bathrooms, all non-toxic, all non-chemical. And then obviously we will then move into organic wine. And then we will then branch out into fresh fruit, vegetables, meats, and refrigerated goods, as we scale the business up in the next, 18 months to 2 years.
I think it's exciting. But the funny thing is, I don't come from a supermarket background. I'm not an expert in logistics. But the fact is that I can see what's going on globally. I can see the rise and rise of Amazon, the rise and rise of Alibaba, and I just think to myself, you know what? If it's not a case of if now, it's when InnerOrigin takes hold in Australia. We're looking at a Goliath of an opportunity here. You imagine if, and eventually in my business, I've got, 20,000 people who are shopping on a weekly basis, and as much as I only earn a little bit of commission off that, I'm actually getting paid for spreading the word about here's an ethical supermarket. The product is actually genuine. And what I find fascinating about that, Phil, is that, again, one of my little things was, I bet the product's going to be really expensive because that's how they're going to pay the commission. Yeah. And guess what, mate? They're not. I've gone online and I went online and thought, I wonder how much a kilo of organic honey is. Well, guess what? It's better than what I'm paying at the farm gate. It's better than the price. And I suddenly did some homework on that because I'm a bit of a maths kind of guy. And I sort of, when people said to me, Lockie, I bet they up the prices just so they can pay the commission. I said, well, you know what? In actual fact, they don't. All that InnerOrigin are doing, if you don't mind me dumbing it down, is they're playing the role of Woolworths. They're buying from a farmer. They're basically putting in a warehouse and then they're shipping straight to you. Now, the complication Woolworths has, mate, as at the recording of this video, July 2017, mate, Woolworths have 961 supermarkets in Australia. So what Woolworths have to do is gouge the farmers for price in order to make profit, in order to try and sell to customers at a reasonable point. InnerOrigin don't have to do that. They don't have the infrastructure cost of 960 supermarkets, which says to me, as InnerOrigin gathers momentum, as InnerOrigin gathers scale, effectively you will not need to go to Woolworths or Coles or Aldi or any mainstream supermarket ever again, because everything you need will eventually be online, to the point at which we can have an automatic box of food arrive on Monday every week, which is everything we normally eat for the week. We could be camping all weekend, we don't even look at a Woolworths, and then on Monday morning suddenly the box rolls up and here's our food for the entire week, including fruit, veg, veg, meat, everything.
Yeah.
It's an absolute no-brainer. The opportunity here is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. The opportunity is ridiculous, and you've just covered a lot of those points about the fact that we don't have brick and mortar, so we can absolutely create what we've done, which is an ecosystem, a 3-dimensional ecosystem where we are pushing profits back to the gate, as you say, to the merchant partners, so that they can maintain the integrity of their product. They don't have to fill it out or bulk it out in order to maximize their profit margins, because it's been taken away from them.
Sure.
We're providing customers, like you say, with that kind of that standing order, kind of that directly to their home every single week concept, where they can get their full shop. But the opportunity for Australian people right now is absolutely a genuine business wrapped around this distribution model. For simply, like you've just put it, directing customers to a platform just to shop somewhere else where they can actually trust that. And for everybody here in Australia, the uniqueness of that opportunity, I mean, within direct selling, most companies that people will have heard of within that network marketing space they all originate from America and Canada primarily. I don't know of any that of this scale and this potential actually starting up here in Australia, and then going to America and China and Japan and India and the UK and Europe. And for people now watching this within the next couple of weeks and months, as we drive this business forward, it's all about timing and positioning in any business, and to actually see something like this right now at its infancy, before we go to America. If you think about it logically, within the next 5 years, we will be a global company, because we will be sourcing from within the countries that we do business. So we don't have to worry about FDA approval or anything like that. We're taking a platform, we're connecting supply with demand, but for those people, those advocates now that see this as a business investment, think about it in 5 years, everybody globally outside of Australia, everybody in America and Canada and Japan and China and Europe, they will all have a sponsor, an upline, whatever you want to call it, of Australian origin.
Yeah, that I just want to. So for those people watching this video, I didn't get this the first time I heard it, because I actually have no sort of. I'm not really an MLMer. I love the whole thing about affiliate marketing. I love the idea where I discover something, I think, you know what, this is a great product. They're happy to do a profit split. I mean, imagine going into Woolworths and saying, hey, look, I've just spent $200 on my groceries. Can I have a profit split on this? I mean, Woolworths are going to go, yeah, thanks, buddy. There's the door, and by the way, there's a security guard. What I see here, and for those watching the video, what I sort of cottoned onto was, effectively, IO is an online health food supermarket that is about to expand globally, and because of the model that is used, the affiliate marketing model that is used, the reality is I'm getting in now in Australia before most people know about it, because in time, America finds out, Japan finds out. First thing I'm going to do is contact friends of mine in America and say, hey, this is coming. What's going to result, Phil, is that I'm going to have a multinational business. I might have never been to America or never been to China or never been here, but the fact is I can have people that are my downline in those countries shopping for healthy food. I mean, it's I sat back so many times and went, oh, okay, so where's the catch? And effectively, man, again, let me dumb it down again, because I'm fairly new to this. I've only been in this for a month.
Yeah.
InnerOrigin is basically just an Uber. If you don't mind me suggesting, there's a huge amount of supply out there there's a huge amount of demand for healthy food. The fact is that InnerOrigin has gone and found the supply. Interesting. Correct. Uber is the largest transport company in the world. They don't own a car. Airbnb, all Airbnb did was connect supply with demand, and they're the largest accommodation company in the world, and they don't own a hotel. InnerOrigin could effectively and we're talking maybe 10, well, in fact, 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time, InnerOrigin could effectively be the largest online supermarket for healthy food in the world, and yet InnerOrigin doesn't even have a supermarket.
Yeah.
Uber's set the precedent, Airbnb have set the precedent. Uber and Airbnb are worth billions. And I just see this as an online Uber for healthy food. And what I love about it, mate, is that everybody that I talk to is waking up to the fact that healthy food is the origin of being healthy. Those classic statements, let food be thy medicine. Well, but people are cottoning on to healthy food, and I mean, I'm excited. I think it's hilarious. Now,
right, absolutely, and I think it's interesting to look at Uber, the concept of Uber, because we've actually looked at their technology, and the way that went viral.
You have,
was,
but
was
I love this. Yeah.
You'd be stood, in the city in a pub with your friend or whatever, at a party, and you're wanting to get home, and the person next to you had this app, this Uber app. And then if they sent that app to you, then you would actually get either a free ride or $10, $20 off your first ride for your first time after you've downloaded it. So listen, we've taken the same technology. So, we have where you can build a downline of advocates and affiliates. We have that. But also the power of this business, is the fact that the customers, when you share your shop, with your mother-in-law or your friend, then that person then will be incentivized to share your shop with their friends, and they will get a voucher off their first shop, and so will the person that's referred it to them. So they're now working for your business with you. They're referring your advocate and your affiliate link. They're sharing that, and they're all incentivized getting vouchers off their next shops. But because you're the originating advocate, you earn a commission off every single one of those shopping baskets. So as it goes viral, like you say, you might not know people in America and Canada and further beyond as we expand, but your link won't need a passport. It will jump the pond, to friends and family and contacts and colleagues over there. And before you know it, 3, 4, people removed from you, your advocate link's gone, and your customer base is building.
Yeah, and again, I sat on this for a couple of weeks when Akito was talking to me about it, and I kept on going, yeah. What's the catch? Man, I seriously, I can't. I mean, I'm an educator. I teach people how to trade the financial markets. I've got a sort of a fledgling hedge fund that I'm working on. And a whole lot of people say to me, well, Lockie, trading this and trading that. Say, hey, guys, look, trading is going really, really well. But the funny thing is my trading is not going to go ridiculously viral, because not everybody wants to learn to trade. But the funny thing is, mate, people want to eat healthy food. And I don't have to stop teaching people trading. I don't have to stop going to work to grow an enormous business. I think it's great, and again, I'm going to run through these slides really, really quickly, guys, because there's slides here that I just didn't understand. They didn't make absolutely any sense to me, other than I thought, you know what, I love the ethics behind this company. And I go back to what I said earlier on. They're going to Australian farmers or Australian producers and saying, hey, we love your product, it's genuine, do you mind if we pass it on to genuine Aussies? And mate, do you mind if I say that InnerOrigin is almost the battler's supermarket? It's the supermarket that stood up and said, we're going online so we can actually be very, very competitive globally. We're going to go to those farmers and say, you know what, you set the price for your product, we will add a little bit of margin to that, and we're going to sell it to the masses. And so the challenge I face as a boutique macadamia farmer is, how do I get my product known? How do I get my product to the world? I can't compete with Woolies or Coles. I can't compete with all these imported macadamia nuts. We just can't compete with them. So what InnerOrigin is doing is basically saying, you know what, we are the battler's supermarket. We'll allow a mum that's sitting at home with a new baby, we'll allow her to share in the profit we're generating from her shopping, from her friends shopping. And what I'm actually seeing, mate, in my own little InnerOrigin world is that all Akito does is ring and talk to a girlfriend of hers and says, hey, would you prefer to give your profit to Woolworths or give it to yourself? Because at the end of the day, it's all food,
Yeah.
and it just so happens that InnerOrigin's been very good at corralling all the great food. And as you said, mate, I thought we were looking at, mid 2018 having 3,000 products, but you're talking about 5 to 10,000, which is just huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
massive.
ridiculous. And it won't just be food. We've got eco clothing, so anything that's ethically sourced, ethically manufactured. But I think within the health industry, it's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Globally, it's in and around that 300% per annum growth. And when something's growing so exponentially, so quickly, the integrity of the products within there are sometimes questionable. So I wouldn't say food is food, and I wouldn't say supplements are supplements.
Oh dear, no.
So
I saw some great articles
what
recently.
InnerOrigin will.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I saw some amazing
the
articles recently
on
on fake olive oil, and also a heap of big nutritional companies that are about to go down globally because the quality of their product has been found to be crap. I mean, they've been caught in the wow, we're expanding so quickly. We now need to produce more product. Oh, we're going to have to drop our quality levels in order to get there. And when they come out, sort of August, September, October, I know there's going to be a lot of Australians that go, wow, I thought that was a really good brand, but in actual fact, it's not. These guys have had a shocker.
I think there was one a couple of days, if not weeks ago. I think it was Johnson and Johnson.
Oh dear, yes.
Have just been fined 110 million for the link with cancer. This is going to become more and more, because when you lose the integrity of products, you fill it, you put bulkers in there, you put less quality ingredients in there that artificials, synthetics, that are linked to health and well-being issues and cancers and things like that. And again, InnerOrigin, like you say, are going to revolutionize the health and wellness industry, as well as revolutionizing network marketing and business as well. So there's two fronts that we will see over the next couple of years.
Oh, mate, you look absolutely correct, mate. Absolutely correct. And I'm excited. And for anyone watching this video, even if you're watching this video early on after it's produced, we have an opportunity in Australia to get on board, help the farmers move forward. Yes, you can get paid a little bit of commission on the way through, but the beauty of it, as I said earlier, InnerOrigin doesn't have 961 supermarkets they've got to pay for, not the 961 store managers or the staff or the shelf packers. The fact is, there's a couple of very, very big warehouses, and that's how InnerOrigin does its distribution. It's just like Amazon. Mate, 10 years ago, when Amazon was starting, a whole lot of people laughed at them and went, oh, as if online selling's going to work. And now we've got physical bricks and mortar shops all over the world that are closing. Well, call me a bit of a visionary, but mate, in 4 or 5 years' time, InnerOrigin is no doubt going to be competing with Woolworths and Coles with more items, but we don't have the logistical costs, we don't have the logistical infrastructure, and as a result, InnerOrigin can actually afford to share its commission and its profit with distributors and with affiliates, but not up the prices in order to do that.
You know what I actually see, Lockie? I actually see Coles and Woolies competing with us. and
I love it.
And most people watching this will laugh, but hear me out on this. Australian people and people globally will talk with their feet where they spend their dollar. So if we provide this environment where it's truth and transparent, and we grow the product offering, which we're doing, people will move away from Coles and Woolies and come to InnerOrigin. So the direct impact of that, if you think that through logically, is this. They're bothered about the bottom dollar. We're bothered about integrity and quality of ingredients. So when their bottom dollar is affected, they're going to look at us and go, well, what are they doing different? And then in turn, they're going to have to turn around to their suppliers and say, hang on a minute, these, people, the consumers, they want truth on label. So therefore, directly, the impact of that will be on Coles and Woolies is they will have to up their game. They will have to ensure truth and transparency of ingredients, labeling laws, different 100%. Things like that. So it will actually, InnerOrigin will set the bar, and Coles and Woolies will have to come and they'll never join us fully simply because of that overhead.